Okay, so let's start. I'm very excited to be here in person, physically, and I hope we have some chat together. So, my name is Pawel Pawlak. I'm a F5 employee, and together with Amy Zwariko, we prepared the presentation to share with you some takeaways from securing open source software. So please don't hesitate to ask questions if you would have any in the meantime. There will be obviously at the end of the presentation the Q&A, but if something comes to your mind, just not to forget, shoot. Okay, so what is the agenda for today? So I don't know if all of you are familiar with ONAP, so I will make some short intro of what is ONAP, also about the ONAP security, how we are organized, and some description of processes that we have implemented to secure ONAP. Log4j will be, I think, interesting example to share on how, as a community, we managed to secure ONAP. And yeah, I will finish with some takeaways, sharing with other communities we believe that could be worth to exchange. And as I mentioned, there will be Q&A. So, what is ONAP? Just in case you are not fully aware, so this is like 5 years plus old LFN project, a lot of contribution. We have stakeholders coming from the operators, integrators, vendors, so working all together to make dream come true. And we have some commercial deployments. Obviously, the first one is AT&T. But also Bell Canada, Orange, Deutsche Telekom, and Spark New Zealand. So we have already some operational experience from that, and yeah, we have also like management orchestration capabilities for the LFN 5G Super Blueprint. So this is also like a project that is spanning across multiple LFN projects. And this is part of the overall bigger ecosystem. So I wanted to share with you, okay, ONAP is the orchestrator, but if you look from the eagle view, you have multiple projects that are spanning between different functions. And yeah, we can see from the edge through the core and let's say management and orchestration plane, different components working all together to make this 5G working. There is an interesting website with the LFX statistics, so it provides the general information about each and every project, so you can consult there what are the project statistics and compare benchmark between the projects. So here you can see the 5-year statistics. So just to give you an overview how much complex ONAP is. So multiple projects, multiple contributors, commits, and so on. We could say that this is really for this 5 years, a lot of work, a lot of people who contributed, who are still working on it, and yeah. What is ONAP security? What does it mean, in fact? So we are organized in a SecCom, so this is security subcommittee. Yeah, it works. Yeah, we are working on it from the early beginning of the ONAP. I could say we are like security enthusiasts, meeting every week and discussing, how to move forward, what is needed, reacting on the changes in the industry, on the new threats, and so on. Yeah, our mission is to improve ONAP security, but what does it mean, right? What are the exact activities we are doing? So first of all is the guidance, right? So among that many different threats and different security issues, we are looking for the improvements, prioritization, to ensure that we are first handling the most critical issues. We are also working to provide instructions. So what does it mean? Simply we are, helping the projects to fix the issues, the security issues. We are also taking a lot of efforts on coordination. So to implement the new initiatives that are, let's say, in the air coming from the industry, like S-bombs, for example. This is, I think, a very good example that US government asked the software suppliers to provide software bill of materials, and we are working with the ONAP community to ensure that each and every project can provide the S-bomb. So this is really a challenging task, but we are successful with it. And another example is the security logging. So, how to collect logs, how to ensure that this information would be available. And last but not least, software lifecycle management. So, there are so many components that are part of each project, and we have, like, let's say, 20 projects operational. So, to coordinate different versioning, to ensure that those projects are, improving by upgrading their packages and so on. This is really significant coordination effort. And yeah, we have, all this administrative work, doing epics, doing, Jira management, I would say, ensuring that each project gets enough information and we have the good communication and exchanges to ensure that this security management would take place and we would improve each release. So you could ask, okay, what are the security tools we are using? So I have this information here. So primary tool is the analysis we are doing is the software composition analysis with Nexus. Nexus from the early beginning of ONAP project. I will have later on some description of the process we are using this tool and how we improved the vulnerability management with it. Another tool that is also used by our team is the static application security testing with code coverage. This is Sonar. So here is a little bit different way of working. So we had in the past example of some companies providing developers to track down the issues per project and then fixing them, let's say during the release. But let's give some short context. What are the other ONAP tools? What do you think, guys? Any ideas? Let me give you some. Yeah, obviously we are using Zoom, right? This is a tool used every week. If I consider that we have also some additional meetings, so it would be really a nightmare to exchange just via emails. So Zoom is one of them. Obviously, Jira, Confluence, Jenkins to run the weekly scans with the software composition analysis. Gerrit to make those merges operational and so on. So yeah, this is really, these are the tools like that you would say, yeah, everyone is using it and so on. But yeah, it's important to have, one thing is that, okay, there are very specialized tools like for the security scanning, but then all those other tools are really not less important to ensure that we can be efficient in our actions. Okay, so I mentioned you about this LFX Security Leader Board. I hope this is readable, but ONAP is on the top of this list. What does it mean? It means that we were able, those numbers are really significant. Over 7,000 vulnerabilities fixed. So this gives you the order of magnitude of how many things that we are tracking down, trying to solve, and ONAP is really like top one project. So yeah, lot of work, lot of effort, but with the team spirit and teamwork, we are really moving forward, and with each release, we have some really achievements that we can share. Okay, so how we are managing ONAP dependencies? Okay, I mentioned there are 20 plus projects, so each project has multiple components, repos. So, you know, this is really cool. And we, across, let's say, 10 or 11 releases, we were improving the process. So I think that we are quite good in this already. So Nexus is the scanning tool we are using to check, okay, every release, what's going on, what are the new vulnerabilities, CVEs, or, you know, what is the criticality of those findings. So in the step 2, we are doing the analysis. So checking out, okay, what are the newer versions, what are the capabilities, how to move forward. We use the, in step 3, we are using, let's say, restricted wiki that is available for each project team lead. So with this, we have exchange with the projects on the progress, and also, you know, we are providing their recommended versions and checking by the end of the release if the upgrades took place. If it happens it did not, then we see it in our tracking table, showing up the percentage of completion. And you know, we have also the process implemented for the waivers. So it means that from some reason project may have some third-party dependency or having not enough resources. So we have this alternative process to say, okay, I cannot fix it this time. So okay, it happens. So it should be fixed next time, or I hope not for never-ending fixing cycle, but yeah, it is working, it is operational. It was not developed from the very beginning of ONAP, believe me. We worked a lot to try to improve, learning from each release, how to make it more efficient, how to make it faster. I can tell you that at the beginning of ONAP, when we were doing the analysis with Amy, so it was few days to analyze the Nexus IQ. It was manual analysis, right? So we had to spend really a lot of time to check for the vulnerabilities, you know, copy information about the CVEs, about the criticality, all the details, agree on the recommended versions. So yeah, it took time, but with the automation and Amy's team, who managed to develop automatic collection of the data through API, you know, those you know, days were switched into maybe hours or even less to have the process completed. And then obviously there is still a lot of effort on each project side to manage the upgrades and so on. But on the SecCom side, I can say that we are automatized, and this is really cool. And obviously Jenkins is the tool that you know, gives us the results from the weekly scans with support from the LF IT team. We get it, and this is first step to ensure that we can get the information and you know, yeah. Okay, maybe some retrospective, I would say, from the Log4j story. This was an interesting vulnerability, and I think everyone who is interested in security is aware of the Log4j. So, but maybe just to summarize, okay, December 21, there was a vulnerability announced. It was 1 or 2 CVEs at the beginning. So we started to consider, okay, we need to fix it. This is critical, so we need to find a way to fix it. But first, we need to know where Log4j is used, right? So obviously, you can retrieve this information from the tool if you click a lot. Yeah, but having exactly the good picture of, okay, who is using it, we had to do some manual process, and I will mention you how we could avoid it. And yeah, this were the exploit that could trigger the remote code execution. So that's why this is really critical to fix. And all the open source industry started to work on it. With some of the projects they did it faster. Some maybe still are working on it. Maybe some simply ignored. But then some end user, if would be using the application, the software with Log4j not fixed, it's really a shame for the project that did not do it. So, and in fact, those fixes were showing across the time. So after a few weeks, we had like, I think, 4 CVEs that were announced to be fixed in the version 2.17.1. And for the older versions, that some projects could be running, like Log4j 1. Something, then maybe none of the fixes could be available, right? So what we did? So we simply contacted the TSC, right? So TSC, we have a really critical vulnerability to fix. We need to upgrade. We had a full support from the TSC, and it was very important that decision taken to do the upgrade was done very fast. So we could do the analysis, ensure, okay, who is affected. So like 4 projects were affected. Maybe it's a lot, maybe it's not a lot. It depends how you count it. And yeah, this is important also, aspect of having Jira tickets open and so on. Even if you are meeting with the people, everyone is aware of the issue and so on, but having no Jira gives you really high probability that maybe somebody would not touch the topic, right? And having the TSC approval, having the top priority gave us like criticity to the Jira tickets, and projects started to work on it. So, okay, so summarizing some retrospective part. Okay, first of all, projects upgraded, but it was not during one night, right? It took some time. We could have done it faster if we would have SBOMs implemented. Unfortunately, it was not yet the time, but it was a good lesson learned for us that, okay, if you have a SBOM, you can see exactly what are the components, right? You have a list of components. You can easily track down, okay, I have this component that is vulnerable, so this component is used by those projects. So yeah, this could speed up the process a lot. What else? If you would have automated repo upgrade, probably it could be fixed on the fly, right? We are not yet there. Software components for the software composition analysis, they have this kind of features. But on the other hand, I'm not sure if it would be wise to do it automatically, right? There might be some dependencies that it should be more controlled by the, by the human than just automatically upgrading things. So be careful. This could be interesting to have, but under some control. What else? We had like ODL external dependency, and ODL team did not manage to fix their Log4j delivery for us. So we had to do the upgrades internally. So Dan, who is leading the projects, taking ODL, he had to perform the task by himself, and he did it successfully. So yeah, this is manageable. Yeah, considering the delays. Yeah, well, look, we started in December, we completed in March, so it's like 1 quarter to fix. Come on, it's on one side it's long, on the other side, if you look into the details of the process, how we managed to fix it. Okay, there were some delays by one of the projects. If some project is like centralizing things, and if this project is not performing, then obviously you cannot implement things as fast as you could. Other thing was that it appeared that we had a major failure in the CI/CD for ONAP, and it took like a few weeks to fix it by LFIT. But there were also some benefits that came up from this journey, right? So first of all, we did some like housekeeping. So we discovered and removed some of the deprecated functionality and components. And as a follow-up, we had also some further activities on unmaintained projects. And really, believe me, a lot of meetings and efforts to introduce the process, because it was quite defined how to create project in ONAP, but not necessarily defined how to, exit. What is the exit criteria, right? How to kill it, because nobody is using it, right? It could happen. So, yeah, we had this one of the benefits. We also managed to identify the Sonatype bug and work with them to fix it, and it was done successfully. So, you could ask what could be next, right? What are the next activities we are considering in ONAP? What is in our backlog? Okay, SBOMs under creation, but also having next release to ensure that we have the version management with SBOMs. Again, removal of unmaintained code from ONAP. This is very important. Okay, if there is no interest anymore, let's remove it. Less resources spent for scanning, for analysis, and so on. We have a lot of efforts on standardizing logging. So security logs for Java, Python, these are the major languages that are used by ONAP. And also having centralized logs management. Based on this, you could know exactly what's going on in the application, right? If there are any security concerns. Another important project initiative that we support very strongly is the implementation of the service mesh architecture. So historically speaking, ONAP was very much dependent on AF project. After this project was let's say abandoned, not maintained anymore, there were still some functions that had to be covered with this project, but nobody could support it in doing upgrades and so on. So having the service mesh will give us good visibility on the connectivity, on the management of the flows, and also some airbag capabilities and so on. Another initiative we have is also ODL code merge. So there is some piece of code that we are dependent for the SD network controller, and this code was agreed with the ODL team that will be part of ONAP. Obviously, this code, as a part of ONAP, will have to be treated exactly the same way as we treat the ONAP repos. So doing the scans for the software composition analysis and with exactly how each and every repo is scanned must apply to the new code that would be taken from other projects. We have also some activities around the basic images management. So this is really crucial to ensure that each and every project is consuming like the good, secure, basic image, right? Otherwise, if somebody is taking some not exactly right image and then building some containers, then you end up with really a mess and some security concerns. So this is really important to have this governance process in place. So we agree, okay, you want to have this image, kind of image, okay, please download it from with our recommendation, and that's it. We also plan to do some adjustment in the exception process. I mentioned you, okay, we have this exception due to different reasons, right? Somebody cannot do what's supposed to be done, but this process cannot last forever, right? I can imagine 1 or 2 releases because of some third-party dependency, but you could get it at next release, and then you end up with, after 10 releases, you get exactly the same exception. So this is something that cannot work in the real life. So we want to propose that for the third-party dependencies, we understand this is not easy to fix, right? So having maybe 3 maximum cycles to fix it, I think it is doable, Yeah, we have to agree on this, otherwise we would have some projects that are able to fix and some projects that are unable to do. So overall ONAP is treated as a set of components, right? So we cannot say, okay, you are good, you fixed, and some other projects cannot fix, and then whole ONAP is affected, right? We are taking a lot of efforts on shifting security left, right? So to avoid situation that everything is done and then security team give us a stamp that it's secure, right? Then obviously it won't be efficient at all. So we are working across all those ONAP cycles to move forward and ensuring that we have security by design. We have all the necessary information at the very beginning of the release. Bless you, like M1, and then progressively checking if there is any support needed for the project to make things happening. So let me mention like Python and Java languages upgrades. It lasts already like, I don't know. Last time we initiated this topic in Shista meeting before COVID. So it was 2018 or maybe 19. So really a lot of time takes to do the Python upgrade and Java, right? But in order to do this, you need to have good measurement tools. So we have developed scripts by integration team, and those scripts are showing up which component is running the right version of Java or Python, which needs to be improved. We have the packages upgrades I mentioned already, so this is really a lot of efforts because, as I mentioned, this is really complex project, multiple repos, multiple components. And last but not least, badging score improvements. So badging is an overall initiative under the OpenSSF. And from the early beginning of ONAP, one of our colleagues, Tony, is leading this topic and guiding the teams, making awareness of the different best practices in security, and also ensuring also on LFN IT side that if there are some improvements that could be like low-hanging fruit to get it. So having these activities ongoing, some of the projects are almost at the gold level. So this is not really to achieve. Some are like passing, so basic, but still important to mention, and some are silver, so quite a lot of work. Yeah, so this heads me to the last slide. So what could be the message to other projects, right? I believe ONAP has a lot of best practices implemented. We call it global requirements. So in ONAP we have a 3-step process. When we want to implement some new recommendation, new requirements, so we start with the POC, right? Proof of concept. So we select some friendly project to see if it's doable, right? With this project, we know, okay, it takes, I don't know, some amount of resources, some T-shirt sites to do it. Then we share with other PTLs, okay, these are the takeaways from this proof of concept. And then we say, please, let's do it. Let's start with the converting it to the best practice. What does it mean? It means that for every new code, for new project, if it is applied, then this project should obey this new requirement. This is obligatory for the new project. For the existing code, not yet. So let's see how it works for the new ones. And usually after one release, having even more experience, we ask the TSC for the approval, because this is through the governance process. To transfer this requirement into the global requirement, it means that each and every project should complete this requirement, right? So examples for the global requirements are, moving with this Java or Python, upgrading packages. Yeah. So what else? Yeah. First of all, shifting left, right? this is really crucial to do things as soon as possible and to ensure that, you know, we can help as much as possible to projects to initiate the work, to provide resources, to provide guidance, to ensure that, you know, we are on the same page. Automation is really crucial here because with the complexity level at ONAP, if you do everything manually, then you need to have really fast hands or a lot of hands to make things, right? So it's better to invest in automation with some governance, right? Ensuring that, okay, you check what is the output and then you adjust, right? This is like a process that needs adjustments. This is our experience, right? It is important to listen the projects because, okay, something happens, tool can be, you know, can be faulty, there can be some false positive. So then, okay, we have a discussion, okay, please explain us what's the problem, how it goes, and then, okay, we check, we adjust, we rerun and move forward. Housekeeping is very important. In open source, people are very focused on, you know, developing new things, but, you know, then cleaning after and ensuring that if something is not used, to kill it, remove it. This is really problematic thing, and yeah, it's not in our regular, let's say, habit, maybe, but this is really important not to get lost after a while. Yeah, removing false positives, I already mentioned. It happens. We have experience from the recent releases that projects were saying, okay, but it's really a mistake by the application. So there is a, you know, white labeling capability, so you can simply mark down that this particular item is false positive, and that's it. Yeah, dependencies. Oh, guys, this is really cool because if you are not aware of the dependencies, you may this little movement here, but afterwards you are still not in the good shape at all. Communication. I really encourage, you know, to share with the community through different meetings, right? Inviting people to the SecCom meeting or coming to the PTL's meeting, TSC meeting, because if you don't communicate efficiently, then it's really a problematic item. And documenting, you know, if you do something and it is working, you need to document it properly. It should be part of the release notes. So everyone would be aware of what was done and what is the achievement. And last but not least, really work as a servant to the project. So, you know, you need to understand as a security person that the security is a journey, right? So it's not, you cannot expect that everyone will just work on the security. So that's why it's important to be communicative. It's important to exchange, to understand, to be empathic, you know, to get it, okay? And then you have this common understanding between the projects and the security team, and it makes things happening. So this is the message I wanted to share. I'm open for questions. There are some mics if you would like to ask questions. So it's.
So yeah, commend sort of sharing best practices with other projects, right? This is a very good idea. Part of the challenge for a sort of smaller project is there's a lot of stuff to do here, right? Just figuring out for Project Eve, okay, what are the SBOMs need to look like, right? That's something that we're working on right now, and it's, but also then figuring out, well, what are the actual practices around CVEs that fit into that? Basically keeping track of your dependencies and figuring out or propagating the CVEs in all of the dependent packages. I think that this is you know, whatever practices but also tools that can help with this stuff would be very useful, because even a small project, right? We went and looked at the transitive closure of all of our dependencies, not just our direct dependencies, but the transitive closure, and it's like 900 packages. We build a very small piece of software, by the way, right? But when you do the transitive closure, we might not be using that particular function in that particular package that's 3 levels down, but there's no way of telling, right? because the fact that we're using some functions in a package that uses some functions in another package means it shows up in the list. So now, managing that stuff is, what are the best practices, right? And what are the tools? It would be great to share what other people are doing. Yeah.
Thank you. This is a really great question. So I can tell you that at the beginning of ONAP journey, we were trying to, serve both direct and transitive. But after 1 or 2 releases, we saw it's really completely unmanageable. In a way that, asking the project to open a ticket to another project, which should maybe open ticket to another project, no way. People, they don't have time for it and so on. So we are concentrated on the direct ones. If we are successful in fixing direct ones, which I hope one day should come, then we will focus on the transitive, and in the meantime, overall community should evolve and improve, right? As for the tools, there are some. There can be some mistakes in transitive direct, right? So be aware that then it's important to consult with the project. When we have any doubts, then if the project says this is direct or transitive, we simply take it as a written in stone. Those 4 they know exactly, right? We are using sometimes Maven for tracking it down. Sometimes the Nexus IQ is giving some information, right? But this is not something that you see just like one click and you get all the info. So it takes some time and yeah. But definitely focusing on the direct ones is my advice. Otherwise, it's too much. Not enough resources to handle, and you don't have influence on other projects directly.
I think in general, if you suggest, you can't ensure when it will get fixed, right? But if you suggest, many open source projects are responsive, saying, hey, yeah, we can go and update that thing, right? But if it's too many levels, yeah, it's unpredictable. You don't know when and if this will happen. But people are in general helpful. That's what I found. But
yeah, it's important to communicate. Definitely. That's why for ODL, we had multiple meetings with the ODL team, synchronizing with the releases and so on. So yeah. This is definitely important aspect of daily security team work to have direct meetings, to join their meetings or inviting them to our meeting, and to ensure that we have a common goals, right? Even if it happens that there is some small delay in one project, but at least this project is aware of the issue, right? So if they would be not aware, they could not prioritize their efforts to make things happening, right? So. Yeah, it is definitely important. I don't know if you have time for any more questions. I see no more questions. So thank you very much for your participation. Thank you for being here with us face to face. If you would have any questions, I'm here for the whole week. So yeah, we'll be more than happy to share with you if you would like to get some takeaways from SecCom and our lessons learned. Yeah, please don't hesitate to reach me out. Thank you.